All the boys on the corner just a standing round. Say, there goes Penny in her 88 Royale. But what's she doing now? Well, she's the queen of their heart, she's the talk of the town. She got rattlesnake boots, don't let nothing slow her down. Turn her around. Oh, Penny, don't let no one turn her down. Don't sugarcoat it, don't tell lies. She gets what she wants, all she gotta do is smile. And they all get in line. She turns fools into saints, saints into fools. She can shoot her whiskey, plays a real mean game of pool. Yeah, all the boys get schooled. Oh, Penny, they all wanna lose to you. She ain't pretty, but she got what it takes. Her eyes don't water, her heart don't break. Sister don't like her, she calls her a tramp. But she's just jealous 'cause she can't get what Penny has. She don't understand. I don't want money, I don't want love. Just wanna be like Penny when I grow up. Well, she's just like the birds on the telephone wire. She don't like it, all she gotta do is fly. She don't say why. Oh, Penny, what's it like to be so justified? She ain't pretty, but she got what it takes. Her eyes don't water, her heart don't break. Mama don't like her, she calls her a tramp. But she's just worried 'cause she can't see what I can. She don't understand. I don't want money, I don't want love. Just wanna be like Penny when I grow up. Smoke palm malls and talk real tough. Drink white liquor, never get drunk. Be just like her when I grow up. Just like Penny when I grow up.
That was the Honeycutters singing Penny. That was actually a choice by our special guest tonight, Michelle. I'm Carlin Haggerty,
I'm Lori Graves.
and this is the Lori and Carlin Show on GoneRogueRadio.com. How you doing tonight, Lori?
Doing pretty good, pretty good. Kind of tired, but yeah, I'm here.
Yep, it's a Monday night. We're at Steiner's Speakeasy in Chillicothe, Ohio on Paint Street, South Paint Street. Come see Tara and the gang. They've got Prohibition era cocktails and a special emphasis on craft beers from the state of Ohio.
I know I'm looking at her new brew sign. She normally introduces us to a brew, but I'm thinking that North High Brew Company Milk Stout will be my beverage this evening.
I'm going to try an Abita strawberry just because it's sweet, just like me.
Yeah, that's a lie. Michelle, you are familiar with Carlin's line of bullshit, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She gives a look, oh yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad sisters on this one. Yeah. Carlin said Michelle liked to bust his balls like I do, so I immediately love her, and we are now best friends.
No doubt. Just saw you a couple days ago, Lori. We had a great time Saturday night.
Yes, we did for Toby Taylor Timms.
Shout out to TTT.
Yeah, it was her retirement party, right? I didn't know she was a school teacher.
She had taught school for 31 years. About 4 or 5 years ago, her bastard husband started cheating on her, so she got single. Realized that she was okay being single, realized that she was financially okay to be single. The kids were almost raised, and she pulled the pin. 51 years old, and she's...
I didn't know that about her.
Yeah.
And I can't believe she taught for how long?
31 years.
She doesn't look like she taught for 31 years. It was second grade, wasn't it?
Yes.
Those women usually look really haggard.
She was good at it, and all of her students loved her. Her emphasis
Some of
was
them
on-
were there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her emphasis was on science. That's like her first true love. And she's going to go do archaeology and do digs, and she's just going to travel.
Oh my God, that is so cool. The show Dig.
Yeah.
Michelle and I were talking about television shows earlier. The show Dig on USA. It was just a 10-episode thing. Jason Isaacs is in it, and this really hot Jewish actor named Ori Pfeffer, I think. It's on demand. You need to watch it.
Look this
oh God,
up.
it's called Dig. I was a Dig follower. I want to talk to Toby about this then because it was set in Jerusalem.
Oh wow.
And it had like murder and international, craziness going on. Some whacked out preacher in Arizona. You need to watch. Yeah. I recommend it.
I will add this to the queue.
Is this a fictional or?
It was fiction, but
Okay.
every episode, I even got my mom watching it. At the end of every episode, we would be like, "What the hell?" And then you just couldn't wait. I would find myself looking at the clock, going, "We only got 5 minutes left." It was one of those deals where you just every week I couldn't wait to watch the show.
Wow.
So it won't disappoint you. So yeah, a little shameless plug there for Dig. But Toby's going to do archaeology. Where's she going to go? Is she just anywhere? Or?
I think she's going to travel out west. She has a lot of friends out there. She likes camping and being outdoors and things like that. So.
Good for her. That's a good. So she should blog while she's doing that because I think there are a lot of women in that situation find themselves over 40 and find out their husband of however many years is a piece of shit and they're wanting to trade him in for a younger model, and then a lot of women go through that. I think good for her.
Yeah, she's an awesome person, and she's one of the strongest people I know, and I just respect the hell
And
out
I
of her.
saw that they did an autism awareness thing also. And how much money did she raise that night?
$1,140 she raised for Autism Speaks.
That's amazing.
It's pretty awesome. It was out in Uncle Buck's. You've been there, Michelle.
Uh-huh.
Cool place. Buck and the Blues Cowboys played. The night got topped off by the Professors. Lori, you had a great set.
Thank you. I didn't get to hear yours. I was late, but I did get to hear Carlin sing. Carlin debuted his singing career Saturday. And I said this on Facebook, and I will say it again. I can't believe I actually complimented Carlin in public about singing, but he did very well. I was shocked. I'll be honest, I was shocked. I didn't know you were going to pull that shit off. I really did. I was crossing my fingers for you.
You have no idea how much practice. If I had worked on my comedy set that much, I'd be Richard fucking Pryor right now.
You have a Netflix special. That's my thing now. I don't want an HBO special. I want a Netflix special.
on demand.
Everybody's doing Netflix now. I want Netflix special. Screw HBO. I want to be on Netflix.
We had a great show, and I will tell you, just like I told you guys off the air, I literally got sick twice before I went up. It's the most nervous I've been in my adult life, even more nervous than the first time I stood up.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Scared to death. I'm driving down the road. I've got the CD in, getting ready to go to the show, and I'm listening to everything. I start coughing. I pulled over and got sick. I thought, okay, that's out of the way. 2 miles down the road, I did it again. So I sang on an empty stomach.
Well, but still, you were singing with Dave and
yeah.
his band. Dave's a good friend of yours. Toby's a good friend of yours.
Yes.
You really set yourself up for some stress on that one.
Well, it meant a lot to me, and I'm just glad it worked out well.
I am glad. And he even wore a cowboy hat.
I saw the picture.
Did you see the picture? Yeah, somebody said something about something about the thing, and you posted a picture of yourself on stage, and I wanted to comment. Only Carlin would put up his own picture, of himself singing, but
Well, I'm not gonna lie.
I backed off and I didn't crack on you.
I put it on your post even.
Yeah.
And I made it about me.
Yeah.
Which you love for me to do.
Yes, I know. Yeah, Carlin likes to hijack social media and this show. I'm certain sometime, Michelle, throughout talking, Carlin's going to interrupt you and ask you some dumbass question out of left field. Just do what I do and smile and roll with it. That's what we do.
It'll be just like normal then.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah. So, God, I really like her. We need to have her on every week.
I hate you both. Let's go into one of our standard segments on the show, if you're okay with that. Do you want to go into the WTH right now?
Are we? Yeah, but we're going to talk what we got coming up.
Oh,
let's
yes,
make
yes,
it about
yes,
me,
yes.
fucker. Let's
Yes.
make it about me.
By the time this airs, which will be Thursday night, it will be the night after my Comedy Mama debuts as a headliner at Wiley's Comedy Club in Dayton. That's the club where she started. Oh yeah, clap. We're excited. We're very proud of her. It's the first place that she ever got on stage, and now she came back to headline. And it's not just that. It's a place that is notoriously not as equal to female comics as they are to male comics.
Well, and I've read Steve Hofstetter is one of the new owners of the club.
Yes.
They sold. And no offense to the old owners, but Steve has posted several things about being very pro-female comedian. And I have noticed that he's had a lot more females like active in the shows.
True.
So I really don't want to say like I don't want to blanket and just say Wiley's
Okay.
like that. Most comedy, because I get what you're saying though. Most clubs are like that, but anymore I think they're even more open about like they think that women can be funny. You know.
Like probably the male to female ratio of comics is 60-40. But yet the headlining spots is only probably 15 to 20%.
Yeah, I read somewhere
they're underrepresented.
There's an estimate. I've heard 14-1 and 20-1 female to male comic ratios, but there are actually only around 10 women in the United States that are professional comics that are making the big bucks. They're actually touring. Out of all the thousands of comics, there are maybe 10. But again, on Netflix, I noticed this weekend when I was going through their comedy specials that they do on Netflix. Lots of women specials on
Is that
there.
right?
Lots of women. Watched a few of them. And Snoop Dogg. I found a Snoop Dogg thing. Snoop Dogg did a female comic showcase.
Did he really?
He had 4 female comics on there. And I was like, Snoop.
Now, he's always funny on the celebrity roasts. I love to see him. He's great.
He hosted the show. And I forget what it's called now, but it's on Netflix. And Snoop did a female comic showcase. I was impressed. So I OD'd on Netflix this weekend. That's why I'm talking about it so much.
I'll go back for just a second. You obviously had a great set because I was told in the bar at Uncle Buck's after the show, hey, that woman comic blew you out of the water. And I could have been happy to hear that, you redneck son of a bitch.
Well, I can do one better. Some guy came up to me after my set as I'm standing there smoking a cigarette. I even texted him this. He was nice, but he came up it was kind of condescending from my point of view. Maybe I'm just being bitchy about it. But he came up to me and he said, hey, you had a really nice job up there. Since I know you're just getting started out in this.
Oh, no, he didn't.
I've got a couple jokes for you, some kid jokes. And I looked at him and I said, well, friend, I'm not just starting out. I've been doing comedy since 2009. And I said, and did you just listen to my set? And he looked at me and I said, I'm not exactly getting hired to do a lot of kids shows, bud. I don't think I'm not a child entertainer. He said, yeah, but you're a lunch lady. And I said, well, when I have a hairnet on, I'm at my least entertaining. I think that's not when I'm funny. And then I went on to I wrote a joke about it, which I'll tell you guys. I'm going to tell it right. I'm going to talk about how the only thing I ever say to these kids in lunch line is quit complaining about the food. I didn't make it. I have to serve it to you. And if you want to blame someone, go and blame your parents tonight because they voted for the man whose wife is making you eat this slop. So it's not my problem, kids. That's what, and I voted for Obama, but his wife is the one changing all these school menus.
So you give the kids burnt high school pizza and a social studies lesson at the same time.
Exactly. And I wonder how many of them have went home and said, Mom, Dad, lunch lady said that the reason why we eat that crappy food at school is because of you guys. I'm wondering.
This cream corn is brought to you by the letter R, and that stands for Republican.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering at what point they're telling their parents that the lunch lady's telling them they voted for, I just wonder. I wonder what these kids take home. I don't know. Do you have any shows coming up this weekend?
This weekend, I get to go to Charleston, West Virginia to the Comedy Zone. Sam Canterbury got me a guest spot to go down there. First time down there.
I did their podcast that's sponsored by the Comedy Zone.
Yes.
I think it was about 2-3 months ago. And those guys wrote a commercial for me for fellatio. I have a bit called Fellatios. It's about a restaurant where women who want to give blowjobs can go pick out the penis.
Ask her the question you always start the joke with.
I'm always like, would you give more blowjobs if you could pick the penis?
Well, duh.
Exactly. I mean, and that's. I think we have a nice
Let's
place.
stop for just 1 second. Have we just discovered a great universal truth that women don't really hate giving blowjobs? They just hate giving blowjobs to us specifically.
Well, and like I say in the joke, sometimes the grooming isn't there, and sometimes it's it's not that we don't mind giving blowjobs. It's just sometimes the penis is not up to standard quality. There's a quality standard in this, and sometimes it's not there. I mean, men like us to keep our shit taken care of.
Yeah, not everybody's discovered Nair like you have.
Yeah.
Sally Hansen hair removal
Sally
foam,
Hansen
please.
hair removal foam. Yes.
She's heard this 40 million times. She knows.
But but you agree with me on that? Yeah, it's not that the blowjob is actually not I don't say disgusting. It's not the hurdle. It's the penis. It's not the penis is the hurdle in the blowjob in the grand scheme of, and the big picture of a blowjob.
One
the penis is the star, and if the star is B or C quality, then you, as the recipient, are only going to get B or C quality blowjobs.
One night, like the first time you ever invited me upstairs at that bar on 2nd Street, and I thought I was like a member of the club. There was a couple. They're married, and they're friends of yours. And they were talking, and she said that she gives him a blowjob every day. Mm-hmm. Every day. And I was so proud of him and her both. I just thought that's the most awesome
Well,
thing.
I just watched Queens of Comedy. I was on a flashback this weekend, and I love that. If you ever watch Queens of Comedy, it's got Monique and some more. But Monique talks about women, how you keep your man. And she's like, do freaky shit whatever he wants, and you should give him a blowjob every day. He will come home if you give him one every day. I have a couple married friends like that. They take care of their man every day.
That's wonderful for everybody involved.
And granted, they don't work outside the home. They have really nothing else to do. But, I mean, other than that, they give their man a blowjob every day.
Wow. That kind of reminds me of the scene in Goodfellas.
I wonder if they had a prenup for that.
This explains why I'm still single.
Yeah, I mean, kind of me too. Yeah.
I have nothing remotely even nice to say to those comments, so I'll just shut up.
That's rare. I'm glad you're here.
I'm on my best behavior.
So you're going down to the Comedy Zone Friday or Saturday?
Saturday night. It is the 20th of June, 8 o'clock. Contact me. I'll get you free tickets if you want to hear the show of me and Charles from West Virginia.
I would love to go with you, but that's my 25th class reunion. And that could be my WTH when we get around to it. I just remembered that. These people, this girl, and no idea. Yeah, and my cousin's wedding shower is that afternoon. So, yeah. It's your 25th reunion?
Yes.
Yeah, the Saturday? It must have been there's like 5 reunions in Chillicothe that night.
Are you going to your reunion?
Hell no.
I'm going just to see who looks old, and we'll talk about that. Yeah, I just want to go see, because I'm already fat, but I want to go see who is fat and old looking, because I have no wrinkles yet, and I just want to rub this in.
I would not have. If you didn't tell me how old you were, I would never have known.
Yeah, so I want to go rub this in, be like, you guys cracked on me for years about not using my college degree and getting a real job like you, but look what your real job got you, wrinkles. Yeah.
Gray hair.
Should have been a bartender and partied like me. That's
Exactly.
what. Yeah. So Friday. I'm at Wagner's.
Yes.
Roadhouse here in Chillicothe.
You have a lesbian, a midget, and a lady who lost 70 pounds, if I may steal from your column.
Yeah, that'll be my column in the Gazette Thursday. Yeah, I've got Carla Goldbush, Patsy B, and Wendy Ferguson coming up. So it's a ladies' night, kind of.
All of them funny as can be.
Yes.
It'll be a great show. If you want some comedy in Chillicothe, come to Wagner's.
I am anxious to see if the lesbian phrase gets left in my article or if it gets edited out. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Little minor controversy that you actually dared to put the word lesbian in an article.
Yes, I did. I know. You would have thought I was like putting pictures of me kicking kittens and shit up in there, but no, it was the word lesbian has caused a little.
And it wasn't even a judgmental thing.
No, we'll see. I bet he leaves it in. Mike Throne's a good dude. I bet he leaves it in.
Very
so
cool.
shout out to you, Throne. So yeah, what else we got going on?
I think that's what's going on with me. I almost screwed up and double booked for June 25th, and I realized no, that's Lori's open mic at the dock.
Oh yes, with
Yeah.
Keith Bergman.
Keith Bergman.
Yeah. Keith's coming down from Toledo. You have to go to an open mic one night. Sometimes they're really funny, and sometimes you just clap and say, "Hey, participation ribbon." That's pretty much.
We had one night. We had 3 or 4 people that I think English was a second language.
Yeah, I have to work on them talking into the microphone too. A lot of people like to hold it down by their belly button, and then they wonder why everyone's going, I can't hear them. Or then there's the one guy who will be talking, and he'll hold the microphone like in the center of his body, and then he'll look to the left to talk to people in the crowd, but keep the microphone in the center of his body. It doesn't follow his mouth. So they're my little comedy children. They're a work in progress.
That's why I call you my comedy mama.
Yeah, it is. I know.
What I call you Saturday night? The fairy godmother of comedy in Southern California.
Fairy guy. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know, just inspiration.
We do have, Carlin did bring in Michelle as a special guest. Let's go ahead and get into the show while we're doing this. Carlin, talk about the show tonight. This is your baby. What are we doing?
Well, it's a pride show, and we're going to talk about our support and respect for our LGBT
that's not a
brothers
pride.
and
We're not
sisters.
talking Simba. We're talking pride, like gay pride. Okay.
And you know what I'm figuring out is pride isn't marching up and down the street and ramming down your throat. It's just please treat us equally. Please don't, shun us. Please don't discriminate us. I got Michelle. She has a PhD in psychology, and I wanted to call her Dr. Michelle, but she nixed that idea.
Why are you not Dr. Michelle? You got a PhD.
There's no doctor first name that has ended well. Dr. Ruth, Dr. Phil, Dr. Laura. I do not want to be in any group.
Did Dr. Laura even have a degree?
Yes.
Oh, see, I thought there was like a controversy.
In
where she
anthropology, I believe, or sociology, not psychology.
No. And then she got a radio show.
I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Making a lot more money than I do.
Yeah. So you are are you a professor somewhere or?
I'm an adjunct professor at a university in Ohio.
Okay, we're not talking about that. Okay.
We just don't want to, bust anybody's privacy or anything.
Oh, okay. So we won't talk about that then. But yeah, I got you. It's close. Okay, yeah. So you have a PhD in psychology?
Yep.
All right. Tell us about that. Come on, Carlin. Interview her.
Okay.
Yeah, Carlin, ask me questions.
Well, let me ask you some questions then. Being a psychologist at a university, do you deal with a lot of kids that are having trouble with their sexuality and issues like that?
Usually they're not having trouble. But I mean, oftentimes when kids come to college, that's an opportunity for them to sort of start to explore their identities in lots of different ways. And sexual orientation, gender identity are just part of that. Much like, starting to figure out who they are religiously or spiritually or whatever. So it's just a time of exploration.
Is they've pretty much identified themselves as being a part of the gay community by the time they get to college anyway.
Well, yeah, like the coming out age has dropped. Like back when we were in high school, back in the good old days, like the average coming out age for men, I want to say in the 90s was somewhere around 18 or 19, and for women it was early 20s.
And what is it now?
It's like low teens.
Low teens, yeah.
Middle school.
What do you attribute that to?
I think a lot of it is visibility and awareness. There's role models. Like people can see positive role models of gay people. I mean, when I was a kid, Billy Crystal was the only gay character on TV.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Mary Hartman? Billy Crystal was gay and Mary Hartman.
Yeah, no. I'm so.
Oh, that spun off from Mary Hartman.
Yeah, he was on
way
So.
back.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
But yeah, so there weren't representations. And
But that was controversial. That was a big deal. Oh my gosh, there's a gay character, and they're not making fun of him. He was actually a human being, and he ate food, and he wore clothes, and he was.
And the family
also had a puppet that he talked to.
Yeah, but the family talked to him though. They didn't shun him and lock him
exactly.
in. No pun intended. They lock him in the closet. I mean, he was allowed to be like at family functions and eat the dinner table and.
Right.
Because I think back, when we were young. I mean, in late 70s, early 80s, you really didn't. And then if someone did come out,
it was
treated more like a novelty than
or like, oh my gosh, that's so terrible. Rock Hudson was so handsome.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's gay. Is he not handsome anymore?
Yeah.
I heard the funniest quote about Rock Hudson being gay. Somebody said years ago they were talking and they said, well, Rock Hudson's gay, and he said, of course he's gay. He wears jammies. And that was how he knew that Rock Hudson was gay.
Yeah, but I mean, just think, I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking back. I mean, of course you had like in sports, you had Billie Jean King, everybody knew.
Yeah.
But nobody talked about it.
Nobody talked about it, but she still had that lovely haircut and stuff. But but no, you're right. Nobody ever said like I did in my article, this is the lesbian tennis player, Billie. It was just like Billie Jean. It was not talked about.
Billie Jean King, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Exactly, yeah. And you just wonder, I mean, I can't even think of, other than, when in our lifetime did someone come out and be blatantly out in our 20s, even in our 30s, other than Ellen? I mean, when did...
And it was such a big deal when Ellen came out. She lost sponsorship.
And when was that? When was that exactly?
In 96, something like that.
96, yeah, that's that wasn't that long ago, really, if you think about it.
No.
That's 20 years ago.
No, and Rosie O'Donnell wasn't even out then.
No.
It was this big joke, and everybody was sort of in on it. And so I do think that there's greater visibility. People are talking about it, and it has become more normal. And so it is easier for kids who kind of feel like they don't fit the heteronormative standards that we still impose on people to say hey, this isn't where I fit in. And we have organizations in schools now, in high schools and in middle schools, gay straight alliances, where kids can get support and can talk to either other kids or adults who can provide them with guidance and support, and they can feel safe. Like, there was none of that when I was growing up.
And a lot of the myths are getting dispelled and lights getting shone. And I'm just going to make a blanket statement. Homosexuality does not equal pedophilia. And if you believe that, will you please turn off this radio show and go stand in traffic, and I'll be around to run your dumb ass over later.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not going to catch it. It isn't a virus. I mean, it isn't like if you and I don't think, and then with a lot of gay couples now adopting and raising children, I think that stigma is finally over where, if gay people raise a child, the child's going to be gay. No. What do you...
Well, as I like to point out, your parent, straight parents frequently raise gay children.
Exactly.
So clearly it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. And glad. So, do you, what groups, are there a lot of groups at your university that are available to students for this kind of thing in the community? I'm in a smaller community in Ohio, so we don't have a lot of community resources, but on campus there's a lot of stuff for students. We have an LGBT center that serves students. There's support groups that run for students who are, who identify on, as genderqueer, gender fluid, transgender. There's a lot of stuff I think that's available now. Now let's explain to our listeners a couple of the phrases that you just used, because even though we are all trained to be 2015 and hip about things, there are still some of the lingo. What you just said, gender, you said gender what?
Gender fluid.
Fluid, and then you said gender queer.
Genderqueer.
What are you talking about when you say those things?
So there are people who don't identify on the binary, like male or female, and prefer to identify somewhere in the middle, like
and
as
crude
both.
terms, would that be
Don't use your crude terms here.
Well, would that be like Pat on Saturday Night Live, or androgynous, or?
I mean, it could potentially be androgynous, but not necessarily. It could be two-spirit or some male and or female doesn't fit. It's both.
Okay.
And it's not either or, it's both.
So in their mind, in their they've been born, they identify with both genders, and they act at any given time. They could be this gender, that gender,
or some combination of
or
both.
a combination of both. Okay,
right. Like the new actress on, as we were talking about earlier, the new actress on, or the new person on Orange is the New Black, Ruby Rose is.
I think that's what you said. Yeah.
Identifies as gender queer.
Okay, so
gender fluid.
Gender fluid, and gender fluid is they're not identifying with either gender. Now, what is gender queer?
Same
Just
thing. Some different people choose different labels to identify.
Okay, all right. So yes, that's. I don't. Do you think in the community you're in, our college community? Obviously, with all the Jerry Seinfeld just came out and said he wouldn't do colleges anymore because of the political correctness and everything.
Right.
What is the PC standard in college campuses? Are they more open now than they were when we were in college to the gay community, or is political correctness still holding it back? Do you understand what I'm asking you?
I totally do.
Okay.
I think there's a double-edged sword.
Okay.
I do think that college campuses are doing a lot more to embrace diversity and to, that is the buzzword. You want to be seen as embracing diversity, as, recruiting diverse students, providing an environment for diverse students. But I don't think that necessarily universities are always doing a great job of walking the walk.
Okay.
And I do think that in some ways political correctness can shut down really important dialogues. In Appalachia, there aren't a lot of kids who necessarily have contact with people who are very different from them. And so when you come to college and it's the first time that you meet somebody who's very different, and there's political correctness police, it can shut down important dialogues if you feel like you're going to offend somebody, or you're going to say something stupid or say something wrong. Yeah. So I think there's
because I think everyone has that one feminine cousin. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to be crude or but everyone has that one. Even in Appalachia, everybody's that one feminine cousin that eventually is I'm out of here. And they usually do go to college, and they usually do come back, and then they're out, and and you think, oh. And that's why I had a gay friend. when he finally came out, he said he grew up around here, and he said everyone said, "Oh, we always knew you were gay." And his comment was, he said, "I laugh at them and say, really, if you knew that about me, I wish you would have told me, because it took me years to figure out what I would myself. So next time, give me a heads
There
up."
has to be so much internal struggle and turmoil for someone trying just to figure out,
Especially in the southern Ohio, and any kind of small, like you said, in rural area.
where you feel like the acceptance is not going to be there, so you just push down.
Which is really, Chillicothe really is an open, accepting little town of this. Like I was telling Michelle earlier, I mean, we have a huge gay community here, and it's people, when they find that out, they're like, really? And it kind of shocks them. Like, well, yeah.
I was shocked. I had no idea.
We're not all just gun racks and NASCAR. We know, we've got stuff going on around here. I know there was a lesbian couple that went to prom at Southeastern a couple years ago, which is my old high school.
Oh, wow.
And my mom works there. I said, well, how did that go? Because I was afraid these kids were going to get picketed and whatever. And Mom said, it was fine. They looked really nice. And that was my mom's comment, and it was,
really cool.
and it was very cool. They went as a date. They went as a couple.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. And the kids, nobody gave them any kind of flack about it. And I will admit I was shocked. I didn't think we had it in us, but they did. They supported them.
I was going on a trip for work one time with a gay coworker, super nice guy, love him to death, and we're driving to Cincinnati. We're on 32, and there's a great big long straight stretch, and it was the middle of winter when it was so cold, like everything looks blue out, like it was like 5:30 in the morning, and it
That's
was
oh shit blue.
yeah, and it was because oh shit, it's not late. I
Yeah,
gotta
oh
be at work.
shit, I gotta get home. Yeah, so yeah.
Well, we were actually up going to Cincinnati, and I'm looking out the window of the car, and he's driving, and we're checking it out, and there's frost and everything, and he's looking out, and finally he just pulled the car, and we looked. And I looked over at him, and I said, "Are we having a romantic moment?" And he said, "Carlin, I'm gay, not blind." So that was my brush with gayness.
Yeah, I mean, I've always just been one of those people that have always had a lot of gay friends, lesbian and male, and like one of my best friends in high school was a lesbian, and it's one of the things where everybody kind of figured it out. She knew it but hid it, and then once she graduated, moved to Columbus, and then actually went into the Marines, is when she finally came out, and she's actually has been married, and we did I was in her wedding in Vegas. We did. She had a commitment ceremony in Vegas. My friend and I flew out there. We were her best women. And we didn't really know what to do. There was an Elvis wedding before hers. So I looked at her and I said, "Bitch, I'm not wearing sideburns. I love you, but I'm not doing that." And we stood up with her at her ceremony. And then at the end, when her and her wife walked down the aisle, here I am looking at another girl across the thing. And I said, "Well, I guess this is what they do at other weddings." I held my arm out and I walked her down the aisle. And
very
the
cool.
same thing. But it was an experience that we, and I'm thankful that I'm proud that she asked me to be a part of that, and that they had their ceremony, and they had a very, very nice woman. It was a religious neutral ceremony, but I can say that I have been in a lesbian wedding. I was the best woman.
That's pretty awesome.
I know, it was great. And then we went to the casino and gambled and drank our asses off.
How come our backward-ass society will allow two rednecks that happen to plant their seed and get a girl pregnant at 16 years old and get married for that reason, but they won't allow two people that want to get married and be together for the rest of their life?
I don't know.
Just because they both pee in the same bathroom?
I think that's what our country is going through right now, as far as the gender, with the equal marriages and things. What are your views on that? What do you think? I mean, obviously, yes, you're for it, but do you think that that's going to happen in the next decade? That do you think our country is going to go and let gay people get married?
Have legal acceptance?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'll be sooner than
You think it'll be
that.
sooner? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that and pot. I think we're all going to,
Well, pot's turning into a financial decision, not an ethical or moral decision. Anybody that says different is bullshit.
I want to smoke a joint at a gay wedding. That's what I want to do, and I want it to all be legal.
Right there.
That is my goal.
To go into your lax. That's funny as shit. Yes. Right now, there's an initiative to legalize pot that's being passed around. Do not sign this in Ohio. Do not sign this, kids, because basically there are 7 registered growers and providers with the state of Ohio that are cronies of the Ohio state government, and they would funnel all the money to them. So basically, it's just another, patronage or cronyism.
But it is going to create thousands of jobs.
for the hand-picked people from the government.
Well,
you
no,
can't
because they'll need people sitting around in those grow houses with scissors trimming stuff. They're going to need.
You're exactly right, and they will be the people that the Ohio State government has handpicked to make this money.
We're going to need some more illegals to trim the pot and stuff that we're going to be growing around here.
So now you brought in immigration too.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I think everything should be legal. We talk about everything on the Lorraine Carlin
See me
show.
on Wednesday nights. That's my cut night because I'm already doing that shit at the house.
Hey, I will be growing my 4 plants, definitely. I'm sorry, but even if I don't smoke it, I just to say I could do it. I mean, I remember when I was younger, I had a pot plant in my window, and my dad found it. And he came and knocked on my door, and he goes, sis, what's in the window? And I said, I'm just trying to let my plant get a little evening sun. And he's like, you live on a highway, right? And that's right. Yeah, what if the AEP guy would have pulled up and saw that? I'm like, he wouldn't know what it was. And Dad's like, I want that out of your house. And I was probably 26. He's like, I want that out of your house by tomorrow. So I had to call my friend and gave it to her, and she killed it. I was pissed too. I started that little
That's
sucker
a
from a
sad
seed.
story.
I started it from a seed. I germinated
like your
it.
buddy.
I mean, I started. He was
There's
there.
nothing prettier to have one grow great,
And
big
he
and
was like
tall
12
and have
inches
buds
tall.
hanging out.
And I probably named it, but I can't remember now. But
We planted one in a septic tank that like an open septic tank that has the grate over it.
ew, you're gonna smoke
just gross.
shit pot?
What is fertilizer?
Yeah, but when you say septic, it just sounds so icky.
Well, it is what it is. What it is.
We're going to be talking to Bradley Jablin here in just a few minutes. He is a employee here at Steiner's, is a good friend of ours, and he is also my diva out there dancing in the window right now.
You can see him perform in Columbus as Aluxius.
Yes, as Alexis. Yes, Bradley does
Is
do
he
drag.
performing this weekend at Pride?
I am not sure. We'll talk to him about that because he wants to talk about some things too, and we're going to try to get him in the show here in a few minutes. But what else do we need to talk to Michelle about? 'Cause this is interesting.
Michelle's fascinating. We go to have lunch and we dish on everybody and everything. It's pretty awesome.
I want to have lunch with Michelle.
Yes.
Anytime.
Michelle's so
We'll have
cool.
lunch. I'll drive to whatever unnamed town that you are in, and we will have lunch.
You don't even have to have me. You can just have a girl's lunch with
I
no-
didn't want
yeah.
you to be there.
No.
Just me and her. We
Or I'll
didn't
drive
want you.
here. This is cool.
Yeah,
It
I
just
did.
keeps getting better. You
I
guys,
know.
I introduce you to and then you team up against me. This is wonderful. Thank you.
Usually
Yes,
how it
that's
goes. I
fine.
thought you liked to be double teamed.
Yeah, but not quite in this way, but yeah.
Oh, that's not what you meant.
No.
No, only in hotel rooms in Marietta. Oh, that was just one. Sorry. Yeah.
There was just one.
I got Carlin hammered on his birthday weekend. We did a show in Marietta, his show that he hosted down there at the Lafayette. And we went to the bar across the street
That was a night. That was epic.
and I almost got into a bar fight. Yeah, it was just one of them things. I bought a bucket of syringes full of Jello shots, and it was just one of those
It
nights.
just
Yeah.
sounds
Lots of
like
fun.
it's gonna
Yeah,
end.
and then all of a sudden, Carlin pieced out. Didn't know where he was. I'm texting, like freaking out, like, oh my God, Carlin's drunk. Something's happened to Carlin. No, Carlin went back to the Lafayette to get his groove on. So,
I received a emergency text from somebody who was needing some attention that only I could provide. And it really makes me feel bad that there's so many single ladies and only one of me, but I'm trying.
I know, we need to get you a website.
I'm trying. I can only imagine.
No, Carlin,
he already
instead of
has one of those.
farmers.com, we could be like carsalesman.com. And it could be women who want to date guys that sell cars.
It'll be women that want to feel really bad about themselves. Because there's a market for that. I'm sure that there's women that like to be humiliated and just feel icky, and we would provide that service.
See, I was trying to go with a nicer
know.
thing, and then he always does this. I'm like, carsalesman.com. Women who want to date car salesmen.
Like creepyman.com.
Yeah.
That would be more accurate. I
He's
believe.
probably already on those sites, I'm sure,
sure.
and anything involving
Proof of
animals. But
advertising. How about our WTH? What we got going on?
our WTH,
Yes, what's pissed you off this week, Lori?
what's pissed me off this week is this ongoing looming class reunion that I'm having. There are 120 some people that I graduated with, and I'm not saying that they're not busy, but I am busy. I officiate track, I coach track, I nanny, I do comedy shows, I book comedy shows, I write a column for the Gazette, I'm doing other fundraisers, I'm trying to plan my cousin's wedding. I got shit going on. And my question to some of these people, isn't there anyone that we graduated with that does nothing but breed all day long that could be in charge of this reunion?
They got asses to wipe.
So I did get shit passed off, but then nothing was good enough. No, the venue we have isn't good. The people want to pay $20 for dinner. And I'm thinking, $20 for dinner? Okay, a year ago, I wanted to go to the casino boats and do like a night, have like a banquet room dinner. All of us get rooms, go gambling. I had a girl in our class send me a text and say, well, some people might have trouble finding a babysitter. Well, you know, it's 12 months away. If you can't secure a babysitter 12 months from now, then clearly you've got a fucking badass kid nobody wants to watch. Then the thing was money. Well, $20. I was like, we're 43 years old. If we can't afford $20
at that point,
and you know what? Again, it's 12 months away. Put back $5 a week. Don't buy a pack of Marlboros and your 6-pack of Busch Light, and you can save $5 a week for this reunion.
Stiff your drug dealer for that tattoo you're getting.
So I'm just pretty much, I've had it. And then the girl that made us have it this weekend, who said this is the only date that she was available to have the reunion, called another girl and said she couldn't make it because her daughter's got something going on. And I'm like, well, we could have done this 2 months from now. Exactly. I've been holding an imaginary knife in my hand. So I love the people I went to school with, but I'm done. I'm done. You can't, there's nothing. And the people that are all complaining about the wanting the reunion, none of them are coming. So that's my WTH. If you want to bitch about something, then get off your ass and instead of bitching at people about stuff, volunteer to chip in. Because this is my last reunion that I'm having any involvement with these people. They know where to find me. I'm on all social media. They can read about me in the paper. If you want to see me, I won't be there for the 30 because unless we
on Monday night and say hi.
Unless we go on a cruise or go out of town. They wanted to have a potluck dinner at a school that we didn't even go to. Our high school got tore down. Our school we got a brand new facility, and I said I'm not carrying a dish of baked beans up in this fucker. Look at your kids running around screaming at me. I don't like any of you that much. No, I want to go out and have a nice dinner. But I want to go out and have a nice dinner. I'm 43. I mean, I'm sorry. At this point in our lives, none of us have small children. You know, who's got a kid to worry about?
If you can believe it, Vinton County's cheaped it up, and they just have alumni banquets and then have a party after.
Southeastern has and I'll say it's Southeastern High School. They have an all-class reunion.
Yeah, they do the same thing in Vinton County.
You know, and I don't want to really see some of those people either. I'm sorry, but it's something I dislike that my community I grew up in, but none of these people have made an effort in the past 25 years to contact me. And now that I'm trying to do something nice for you so that we can all get together and maybe have like a good memory, there's always got to be them 10 bitches that want to fuck shit up, and I'm done with them.
Every time we have an all-class reunion in Vinton County, it's the same thing. Carlin, could you please not open your cooler until the younger members of our classes leave? And my response is always, I can open my cooler, I can leave. It's your call. Don't give a fuck one way or another.
And they want to do like at 25 that your class they want to have like the family time. And a lot of the people in my class, we decided my buddy's like, I don't want to see everybody's kids. I'm leaving the house that night to get away from mine. I don't want to look at yours. Yeah. And then there are those of us that have not reproduced like me. And it's not that I'm a nanny. I love kids, but not yours.
Right.
You know, and I just don't. And there are a couple girls, like I said, I'm only going to see who's got old looking, who got fat, and who got some work done. Because let's face it, that's why you go. After 10 years, that's why you go.
And talk about who's cheating on their husband. And who's
you go to see who's miserable.
Sure.
And you can tell. And the last one I went to, like all the prissy girls still sat at the same table. All the guys that I partied with were back in the corner, you know, and all the miserable couples were sitting in the middle of the room. It was just like, it was every stereotype of a class reunion you could imagine.
That's awesome.
And like the prissy girls are up there drinking their Diet Coke, looking down at me because I'm doing shots of Jameson with the guys in the back. Yeah, and I don't care because no one's listening to this anyway. No one I went to school with is going to listen to this. No. Unless somebody says, hey, Lori was talking shit about us on a radio show, listen to this. And to those of you, I thank you for clicking because that just gives us another number on our viewership. Thank you.
We can sell advertising too and make money while your ass can't afford $20 to go to the reunion. You fucking worthless piece of crap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it goes on. But I went to school with a lot of cool people though, and the ones that are coming, I am very anxious to see. A couple of them can't make it. Bianca's down at Country Music Fest, so I can't see her ass, you know. But a lot of people. But it's just there's always like it fulfills my motto, and I'm going to end with this. If you were an asshole or a bitch in high school, 25 years later, you're still a bitch and an asshole. That's all I got to say about WTH.
It's in your DNA.
Yes.
You got to wear that shit.
Yeah, that should be a t-shirt.
That's
Michelle,
cool.
What's your WTH? Do you have one for us this week?
I am a Game of Thrones fan. So those of you who watch Game of Thrones, you will know what my WTH is.
She's shaking. She's really
I'm holding
upset.
back the tears right now because, and if you haven't watched the season finale, spoiler alert, Jon Snow gets killed. At least it appears that he gets killed. I'm really hoping there's a way that they resurrect him because he's so pretty and I like watching the show to see him, but I'm fairly devastated.
You showed me his picture. No, I've never watched Game of Thrones, so there's no spoiler for me, but you showed me his picture.
Not like that, Carlin, no.
And he is hot, and I feel for you.
It's sad. It's really sad.
When they killed Ori Pfeffer off of Dig, I was devastated. I mean, I think I went through like a week of mourning, so I get you.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to empathize with her and talk about Opie from Sons of Anarchy getting killed. She doesn't watch Sons of Anarchy, so
I did, and there's probably no comparison. This guy
All
was
right.
way hotter than Opie, yeah.
Well,
okay.
and when he said when Opie died, I was very confused because I was like, Opie didn't die.
Yeah, you're thinking Ron Howard's still alive.
Ron Howard's
yeah.
still alive, dude.
Yeah.
but it wasn't. So
No.
I'm sorry. So was it? They're bringing back another season, correct? They're going to have another
Yeah, there's
season.
at least one more season, but now I'll have to wait a whole year.
But his death was it like left you in limbo? So you're not for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You're not for sure.
it's ambiguous, and they're probably doing contract negotiations, deciding.
Well, I did notice that my social media that night was blowing
Blew
up.
up.
People were like, "What the hell?" Yeah. So I'm glad you made that your WTH because now I know what everybody was talking about.
It's devastating.
Well, I'm sorry.
saying.
I hope through alcohol and self-pleasure you can get through it.
I just
I'll
burped.
try.
I hope that comes up on the thing.
That'd be nice.
That'd
Pretty
great.
awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Can we take a quick break and get Bradley to come over and talk? We got about 10 minutes left, and I'd love to talk to him.
Let's bring it. Hey, Bradley. I told Carlin to not pause the recording, but he did anyway. But Bradley, what?
This is the first time I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to tell you because you fucking
Did he just say
talk
this is the
all-
first time?
Yes.
Tonight.
What?
Okay.
Today?
Tonight, exactly. Thank you, Bradley. Thanks for your support, prick. But anyway, you have talked so much. I'm trying to save a little time so we can get Bradley in here because I want Bradley as part of
I was
this.
talking to Michelle, and I was asking her questions.
You were. And it was interesting, but there was just a whole lot of it.
What have I missed? What have we been on?
Oh, well, apparently I've talked too much tonight, like Carlin does every fucking week.
What, ladies?
No, this is our Pride episode,
Yes.
and we asked you, Carlin did, to be a part of the show because you are one of our
Only.
premier members of our gay community in Chillicothe.
Yes.
So, Carlin, now this is your chance.
I refer to Bradley as my nog, my number one gay.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
I will
all day
take
long. And how old were you when you came out? Or are we still waiting? Did I just blow something?
13.
13?
14.
How was the acceptance? Good, bad?
Indifferent for a long time
Really?
because we didn't have a reference for it then. I came out independent of sexuality. It was very clear to express to my parents at 13, 14, I'm not having sex with anybody. Culturally, I am identifying as something that's beyond a sexuality.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And there was no other reference point in school for I'm this kid.
No role models, no.
What year was
sure.
this? What year was this around?
This was like pre-Will and Grace. This was like
Oh my God, this is like so long ago.
this was like 97.
Yeah.
This was a minute ago.
I was only
Yeah.
at 35 then.
Hey.
What would you think the biggest daily struggle you face as a gay man?
I don't know. I've made peace with so many things so long ago that
Is that right? I don't want to bring nasty baggage up.
No. What has like propelled me through this world is what other people think about me is none of my business. That took a long time to get there, but I'm there. So what I'm facing would really only be a product of what someone's projecting, and that's none of my concern.
That is so cool. That is so healthy.
It took a lot of years not having reference points for things. It took a lot of years finding out like what that meant and what that meant to me. Once I got there, there being a mental space and there being a physical space, I left this town and went to New York.
Certainly.
Got off a plane and saw 1,000 other people that looked like me, that shared my mentality. That made
Got comfortable
all
in
the
your own
difference.
skin, maybe?
Sure, absolutely. I had a reference point of what authentic was supposed to look like.
Okay.
So to ever retract, to ever go back to something else is on me. That's not on anybody else.
That is so cool that you leave everybody's thoughts and visions and ideas of you to themselves. I think that shows a lot of confidence and a lot of appreciation for who you are personally.
Thank you. I think when you are one of something, you have to then go out in the world and search for those other things. Again, this was early. This was like pre-Google. There was not a lot. I had to go to textbook to find people like Barney Miller, to find people like Larry Kramer, to find activists before me, and to speak on that from that point to today.
Honey, I came out before you did.
Oh, really? Okay.
They didn't even have the B in the logo.
Right.
It was LAGA, the Lesbian and Gay Association.
Right.
My friend and I, we were like, so can we join? Like, I don't
Are we associate members? Can we only show up every other Tuesday? What happens?
Guys, real quick, I'll jump in 1 second.
Okay, that's pretty cool. It's interesting to talk to people from other points of view because I'm the first to admit that I'm the most ignorant son of a gun you guys will meet. And I just, as part of my family, we moved around a lot when I was young, and we just learned black, white, blue, gay, straight, whatever. Y'all just people, you know. Sure. If you stole my trike in the sandbox, well, I'll kick your ass. And I don't care if you're just doing it because, you know, you want to put purple streamers on. Doesn't matter.
Right.
But, you know, I see this quote on the internet always attributed to Eminem. It says, if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. It's as simple as that. I have no idea if he said that or whatever, but I think that's pretty cool.
Or Big Bird. It might have been Big Bird.
It could very well have been Big Bird.
Could have been, yeah. Sesame Street does a lot. How old were you when you came out?
I was probably 17 or 18.
Oh, you're 18. We talked earlier about how the coming out age is a lot lower now.
Sure, there's
and
more
actually
reference for things.
It's lower to the age where when you came out as opposed to when you, so, because you said then it was like about 17, 18 for males, so you were a pioneer.
I have used the expression now trailblazing by accident, by complete accident. I grew up in a very Christian-based Church of Christ and Christian Union, 3CU. It's very, yes, ma'am, yes, very hard.
Do you think
there was 3 strikes against me out the womb.
Yeah.
I have since, I converted in 04 to Judaism. I have since
I didn't realize that.
made peace. Yeah, I was in a relationship for 7 years with someone a little bit older. For us to make that all make sense, that was the thing that I had to do.
Wow.
Now, you kind of put a little sheepish grin and put your head down when you said older. What's wrong with those fucking old guys?
Nothing. There's just it's such a double standard. It's such a stigma. Like, to go back to the show you guys had last week, we were talking of like cougars. What's the reverse of that? Because I'm whatever
Carlin.
that. Okay, I'm whatever that is.
You are not.
No, I
Well,
don't.
then we said it was Manther, and then the younger guys were called Cubs.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
But Cubs is a reference in the gay community.
Sure.
Bears
yeah.
and Cubs or twins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Did you just Google those words before the show tonight?
girlfriend, I could tell you things that my mind and my internet has went places. I did a little research today, though.
Uh-oh.
Who knows the origins of Pride Month? What does it celebrate or note? It originally was the last Sunday in June.
Yes.
And it was to remember the 1969 Stonewall riots.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first brick thrown at Stonewall was thrown by a drag queen.
Is that right?
Yes.
I
They
didn't know
took
that.
their shoes off and beat the police.
Speaking of that, let's delve into Bradley a little further. Bradley, when did you decide that you were going to do drag and use that as a vehicle for expanding your role in the gay community?
Sure. I was in college at the time. I worked with some people that said, this is the kind of casting breakdown, a theater school. These are the kind of things that we would put you up for. And reading that list, it all looked to be like one of 2 things. You're either like the snappy best friend of like the fat girl, or the oppressed kid that's constantly going through something, and neither of those things are things I want to do. To go back a little bit, a lot of our brilliant writers and artists that were gay that were not able to be out are gone now. An entire epidemic took them out of the 80s. So there is a huge chunk of our art gone. That has then been filled in by straight people writing about our experiences. So drag was my way of saying, I hear you as society. I'm seeing women in a way that straight men are not seeing women. and channeling that through myself. I had some friends that suggested I try a drag thing one night. And I don't know that was ever something I had any interest in doing, but coming from theater, I'll play a character tonight.
How was the nerve level the first time you did it?
Well, non-existent, I think. When we got ready, 3 hours later, I walked by my friends and then walked by a mirror and saw what I was giving subconsciously and wasn't. I'm able to be unique in a way by not being unique.
Wow.
Good afternoon, fellas.
Hi, gang. How are you? That's one of the cool things about being at Steiner Speakeasy. People come in and go, hey, say hi to yourself for our radio audience. We're recording radio.
Hey, how y'all doing?
This is Steve Hummel and Thomas Dirk, who were with us a couple weeks ago.
We know these guys.
We know these guys.
Wagon wheel.
They're friends of the show. They're also friends of craft beer, and I'm assuming Jameson today because they're
listing a little. They're listing a little of the port.
Yeah.
This night is brought to you by None of Your Business. And by that, I mean, yes.
Yes, Jameson.
That's cool.
So anyway, we're talking with Bradley. We've let him go for a minute because he had to go do his job. But I know we talking about drag. But once you went to New York and realized,
That you can make a lot of money looking sickening and feeling fierce all day. Yeah.
Exactly, and you could be you
all day.
What was it like when you made that decision to move back here to Chillicothe? Because you've did a lot of off-Broadway work.
Yeah,
you made your mark on New York. Yeah. So what was it like when you made the decision? But you did come back as a family.
Sure.
You came back to help your sister
My
support
sister,
her.
my nephew are here.
So you made the decision. But what was it like? The late night. Chain smoking, thinking, I'm leaving this to go back to Chillicothe, Ohio. What was that like?
I'll let you know when it's over.
Yeah.
It's daily. Daily, I'm questioning choices as an adult. I think as we all do about anything. And then daily, I'm reminded as to why this decision was made.
Do you think, did you notice a big change in the climate from when you left Chillicothe to because how long were you gone?
9 years.
So that was like a decade. What was the first thing that you noticed as a positive about Chillicothe when you came back after 10 years?
All of it. We're calling this now, 2 years in, the Atonement Tour. Because I left, and I can't blame people. I left the city not knowing me. I had no idea who I was. It took 10 years to find that out. Wow. To come back and to have sense of self. I'll hear you every day. I have someone that apologizes and that says, I treated you like shit in school, I'm sorry. We can't apologize for things we did not know. And I can't accept an apology from a self I didn't recognize then. More than anything, if it's genuine, I don't know. It's become unpopular to be hateful. That's the thing I've noticed.
That is so cool.
That is, yeah, very.
If we grew up in this town as very good old boy, very one thing. It's hard to get past that.
See, gentlemen,
Society
be safe.
Today in 2015 kind of demands that you get past that. So if that's really how you feel, I don't know. I know that you're always going to say what is popular. And that goes back to what you think about me is not my idea, is none of my business.
That's so cool.
That should be a t-shirt.
That's such a healthy attitude.
I can't credit that to me. That's men before me, like RuPaul, that have gone through it, like Lady Bunny, like people that have lived this life.
Though, I think the equivalent of that in the straight world is that I could give a freak less what people think of me because I know who I am.
Sure.
And I think if people know me, they'll know that the BS is just not there.
At the time of growing up here, to be gay was to be black, was to be Jewish, was to be anything not a rich white kid. So I can't really, in good faith, identify as a white male because I spend so much of the rest of the week trying to not be any of those things.
Wow.
Male or female, or white or black. Somewhere in the middle is where Bradley lives.
I for one, am very glad that you're back in our community. Not just because I love you and you're my friend, but I do think that you could be that role model. For people. You could be, and because you're always so positive and you make no bones about who you are in your life and what you do to anyone that comes into this bar, anywhere you are. And I've noticed just people in our social group that we hang out with
Sure.
that I've known 10 years ago that had they met you then,
Right.
they would have not been nice to you.
Right.
But now it's everyone's hugging you, loving you, and it's genuine. And I think you being here and being, you know, the way you are, I think is a very positive thing for our community. And I think that I think you've really changed the way people think about.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
I really do. I mean, I'm not just saying that just
No,
because
I
of the
know.
show, but
Thank
I
you.
really do think that you have made a difference.
But
Thank you.
I'll tell my Bradley story. When I got started in comedy, it was over at the Keys, and Bradley, you were working as a server, and those were some of the most scary nights of my life. And you always would come up and you put a hand on my shoulder or say hey, or you'd wink at me or smile or whatever, and you were always so friendly and warm and welcoming. Even when I was the most horrible, disgusting comedian in the world, you still made me feel like it was okay to go do that, and you gave me a lot of confidence. You don't know that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank
you were really a big help to me.
It's funny because I guess there is another side of things because I'm so. To a complete stranger, I will hug you, I will embrace, and people know that now. So now the look of death is when you walk into a bar and Bradley shakes your hand.
Yeah, that's
Wow,
like
that's the FU.
that's
And
Bradley
without being
FU,
cruel,
yeah.
without being cold, without being shady, I can get you.
That's like secret code. That's pretty awesome.
Right.
Wow.
That's honed. That's been many years of finding that right temperature. I think
you shook my hand after a couple sets. Sorry.
I had so many people that came before me that I was able to stand on the shoulders of in New York that would kind of demand if they were still here today that I go home and run and tell that I should go home and say these are the things I've seen out in this world.
Wow.
Not a lot's done in any community when a bunch of people who all get along sit in a room and talk about how they all like each other. You have to go outside those walls. You have to.
That's so cool.
And I think you've done that for our community.
Well, thank you.
Sure.
I always say at any cost, visibility at any whatever. Someone's going to hate me. Will I get that to my face? Probably not. At any cost.
But you've got such a quiet dignity about you. I mean, you just go through life just being you, and that's pretty damn cool.
I try to. There's so much sexual emphasis put on our community, and people that cheapen our community are not the gay people. It's the straight people that want to have sex with someone in the gay community without identifying as gay.
How much self-loathing and hatred is that?
None of my business.
Don't care. That's their deal,
None of my
huh?
business. I have tried to live my life independent of sex. I am celibate in this town. I spent 6-7 years with a man who was my whole heart, and once that ended, everything ended.
It takes it away, doesn't it?
Yeah, the thought of like being intimate with somebody today is not at all appealing to me. For someone to come in, that means something else has to go out. Life's good right now. Nothing's going out.
Nothing's complicated. Nothing's beating you down.
I don't really have. I don't have that energy today for somebody. I'm not going to say for tomorrow, but today, not. It took so long, to, like I said, to find out who this is. It's special enough to not want to just throw away. I don't know that we're all meant to be with people. I think what sucks about this town is we've all grown up and grandfathered into. Well, she knows her and he knows him, so they're going to get together because that's how it happened.
Several communities have told me I'm not meant to be, and they've even had petitions passed around, but that's their problem.
I don't know that I'm meant to be dating today.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I can identify with that.
A lot of
and
things.
I'm straight up I can identify with that, yeah.
And I think that's mostly a straight thing here is we think that we're all meant to partner off.
But everything you're telling me, all the feelings you're telling me, they're not gay feelings. They're just people
human
feelings.
things.
It's not straight, gay, whatever.
I mean, we put the word gay in front of stuff,
But it
like
doesn't
gay
matter.
marriage and gay rights. I mean, it's human rights and it's marriage.
Absolutely.
Like we have made that happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the natural order.
The great irony is what I see for myself. I was engaged for 4 of those 7 years. What I saw for myself was the most conventional idea of what love was supposed to be. I think people think gay wedding is like some like bondage strap something with like crazy. I saw male energy and my androgyny female energy, whatever that was, that compiled to a relationship. There was nothing unconventional to me about that at all. To the outside looking in, I'm sure it looked like something else.
That love is love.
Love's where you find
love
it.
is love.
Period.
And when love is gone, you don't replace it that quick with something else.
No.
It happens like that. And especially geographically, locally, my gay friends, it's a small pool that they all continue to swim in, and that's just not for me. I've had to exclude myself from a lot of that circle to be in a place of respect. I'm sure you felt it at some point too. There's in community hatreds. You're not gay enough, or you're too. I mean, there's so many things.
There's a lot of drama attached to the small communities,
There's
whether
so
it's
many
gay
ways
or
to
straight.
attack
You
each other
know,
within house.
I've got 17 people in this town I can date, and numbers 1 through 9. Well, I can't date them because they're assholes, and number 10 or whatever is this.
Sure.
And that's where the drama comes from. And I appreciate.
I tell my girlfriends too, like me finding a partner here is 1 in a million because that's what's out. You finding the partner here is probably 1 in a million too. The difference is I'm telling myself I'm not available. You're all making yourself available to something when you aren't. That's where we start getting into trickery.
How do you think I feel? I mean, all you are is gay. I'm me.
Right. But you get to be you, though.
Yeah.
What a pleasure.
I do want to thank Michelle and Bradley for coming on our show tonight. And Carlin, this was a great idea. Carlin wanted to do this episode to acknowledge that we open pride, and I'm glad you guys.
We stand with our brothers and sisters.
And plus, and Bradley's Facebook name says it all. He is Bradley Equality Jadwin on Facebook. That is his name. I love that when I saw that on there. I thought and that just kind of sums up Bradley. And Michelle, I'd like to thank you for coming tonight and giving us your opinion, not only as a member of the community yourself, but as in what you do in psychology, and giving us some insight on what people are going through, and especially college kids you work with. And I just think people, just like Carlin said, just be nice to each other. That's all we really have to do, I think. So what do you want to add, Carlin?
I have zero to add to that. You perfectly summed up everything, Lori.
Oh my God, I did.
Yes, this is the Lori and Carlin Show on GoOnRogueRadio.com. You can email us at lncshow@yahoo.com. Please send us an email. The only ones we've got were from my drunken brother, and I'm not sending him shit. Anything else you want to add?
No, just please stick around. Again, I want to thank Bradley and Michelle for coming out tonight and talking to us. And I hope you guys all get something out of this episode of Lori and Carlin Show. We don't normally do, things that are good for the community. We just sit and bitch at each other. But I hope you guys took something away from this show tonight. And I think that we had a good show.
That's all we got. Thanks a lot for listening.